Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, 2018. Millions of years ago, Mother Nature wiped dinosaurs from the face of the earth. Then a bunch of nerds thought they'd play God and bring those dinos back to life. So Mother Nature's all like, oh no, you did it! And blows her top, melting them dinos back down to nothing. So then the nerds be like, ugh, fine, we're totally bored of lame old dinos anyway, and create straight up nightmare monsters and little girls, and let them loose on society.
Hey guys, Future Dan here. Just wanted to touch on this really briefly before the episode gets started. Brian's microphone is really crackly and awful, but it only lasts for like 3 minutes of the entire episode, and then it's fine after that. So if that audio problem is troublesome for you, I apologize. Doesn't last very long, and I did leave it in because he does have some interesting points, and it does kind of work with the flow of the episode, but it sounds awful. But it's only for a few minutes, and then it gets better. All right, enjoy the episode. Very nice. Now, I do want to, we always talk about this. Will, I know for a fact this is the first time watching this. I can't remember, Brian, had you seen this one before, or is this your first time watching this one?
This was my, okay, so I had seen pieces of this, but I never watched it all the way through. Basically, it was my first time seeing this all the way through.
Nice. Okay. I had seen this one before. I completely forgot huge chunks of it. So for a lot of this movie, it felt like my first time watching it. And I got to say, this movie feels very much like two movies mashed into one. So I kind of want to talk about this as if it was two separate movies, at least to start.
I wouldn't even say it's mashed into one. I'd say it's just two different movies.
Just literally blended.
So you guys are talking about the time spent on the island and the time spent in the house, right?
Yes.
In the manor, yes.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Okay.
It is one part park movie and one part haunted house movie, and I think one of them it does okay. I said okay, calm down. All right, so for the first chunk of this movie, we're spent on Island Nublar, which is where Jurassic Park was. It's where Jurassic World was, except for now there is a extinction level volcano happening, which is super interesting. Place where there is a park. You would think they would have looked into that a little bit more before spending the millions of dollars on that, but whatever.
I mean, no, I think we need to give this it's just time in the spotlight here. This is a ridiculous plot hole. This is like, hey, we need a reason to go to the island and move dinosaurs off the island. We need something. And they're like, let's just make a volcano pop up. And I thought this was the most lazy, stupid idea ever. Why would you spend quadrillion dollars building that theme park and not know that there was an active volcano underneath it? It was just so incredibly stupid. From the moment that happened, I was like, oops, I'm out of this one. This is no way.
They do mention at the beginning that there was a dormant volcano, and the dormant volcano became active again. Now, I am not going to even pretend that I'm like intelligent when it comes to that kind of geography and whatnot, but that is something that happens, is it not? Like, can you not have dormant volcanoes that can become active again? Maybe not like hit extinction level events within 3 years, but like theoretically, that's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think volcanoes can stay dormant for thousands and thousands of years. But I think you can find their activity happen, something brewing usually faster than, oh shit, 20 years ago we thought this was going to be a sure thing. I don't know. I think they could probably have looked into it a little bit more, but who knows? No,
for sure. I'm just saying it's not like it's scientifically impossible. Like, this is a thing that happens. It's just highly unlikely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
I just hated it. I thought it was just the laziest way to get into a sequel. It made this feel like such an incredible cash grab. And because the first Jurassic World had these lines embedded throughout that movie, and they kept letting you know as an audience member, we don't think you're stupid. We're just doing some lazy writing and having some fun here. In this movie, they took everything seriously. They didn't drop any lines. I was waiting for somebody to be like, nobody thought to check for volcanoes before they built this? Like, something to tell me that, yes, this is stupid. They didn't do any of that. And all the dumb things that happen in this movie, I feel like I'm supposed to believe it, and it's all stupid and ridiculous throughout the entire thing. And it was weird because they did stupid and ridiculous things in the plot from the prequel to this, and I was okay with it because they let me know it's dumb. And in this one, I felt like I was supposed to believe this hook, line, and sinker, and all of these dumb things that happen throughout the movie. I'm just like, why is any of this even happening? This is ridiculous.
Oh, there are some things we're going to talk about. Don't you get me wrong. Like, there's some very stupid things. The volcano, as silly as it is, specifically because it's the island that they spent millions, if not billions of dollars on, from a movie perspective, it was kind of cool to see the dinosaurs with the extinction level event and the lava. Like, it was on brand. Like, as opposed to them like nuking it or something like they do in the books. Like, it is kind of like the dinosaurs.
That would have been way cooler. Nuking it would have been way cooler.
Now, having the dinosaurs, because like you're supposed to feel sympathy for the dinosaurs in this movie, 100%, right? Like, somebody in chat was talking about how this is like Jurassic World made by PETA earlier. And like, you've got the dinosaurs drowning in the water trying to get away from the lava. You've got the Brontosaurus burning to death. And then like, we'll talk about the second movie later on. But like, Will, you were saying last week how you were kind of depressed by seeing the dinosaurs in cages. Did this one hit that same emotional level for you, or just like, whatever, just let them burn?
Yeah, I mean, I said in the last movie, don't go watch these movies because it's just going to get worse. And look what happened. Look what happened. Like, you let your audience be idiots, and you're going to treat your audience like idiots, and that's exactly what we got here. I'm like beyond caring at this point about the dinosaurs, about anything in this movie. It's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. There's nothing in this movie matters. That's what it felt like to me. And it's sad because we'll talk strictly about part one of this movie. It's beautifully shot. It looks great. They set up some really cool shots. Like the dinosaur, I can't remember what name it is, not Brontosaurus, but whatever. The long neck dinosaur is like the dinosaur from the first one that they first see when they are in the Jeep. And it's the same dinosaur. And now this time, instead of it reaching up to get leaves from a branch, it's crying out in the same way, but like in the smoke and ash of this volcano just melting all these dinosaurs. It is like a beautiful shot that like is supposed to bring tears to your eyes because you care for these dinosaurs, but nobody cares. Why would you even care? Like, because who cares? What's going to happen next? It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody's taking it seriously. The writing is garbage. The characters are garbage. The dinosaurs are now even just cartoons of themselves. They're running around, bonking their heads, getting dizzy. They're winking at the camera. Sorry, this is next movie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Smiling and winking at the camera. Like, it is beyond. It's not a movie anymore. It's not even a movie anymore. It's not.
Oh man.
And that brings up one thing. Like, why are we going to rescue these? Like, they say it's because they don't want the dinosaurs to become extinct. Just make more. We've been making dinosaurs for 5 movies now. Just make more.
Okay.
Why is it such a big deal that they got to go rescue them?
If you and your wife survive, but your kids are going to die, you could just make more.
That's totally different.
But that brings up the interesting point. They are living things.
They're living
things. Okay,
That's
but they talk about saving them from extinction.
Obviously.
They're talking about saving them from extinction, and that's not an issue. They can just unextinct them again. And they even I think they use like de-extinct as a word they use in this or something.
Yeah, they do. But right? I do wonder, again, we're talking about this movie as if it's actually put thought.
Yeah, we have an hour to kill. Of course we are.
But how much does the general public know that there is DNA testing and cloning happening off-site? If everybody thinks that it's relegated to the island, then it is an extinction event.
Okay, but us, the viewer, know that's not happening.
Sure.
Well, and so would Claire, who's running that organization.
Yeah.
Does she know? Claire?
I mean, she ran the park. I'd have to assume she knows that there's a second one.
No, but I mean, in Jurassic World, didn't they say that they moved everything onto this island?
Oh, did they? Oh, I might have missed that.
I thought, again, terrible movie, hard to remember.
Did you guys watch the extended version, or did you
watch whatever was on Prime? I don't know.
There was like 14 extra minutes. It was on. They had both on Prime, and I accidentally chose. I didn't realize there was an extended version until I'd already purchased the regular version, so I didn't see the extra 14 minutes of footage. Thank God, because I had trouble getting through what I did see.
Well, let me say this. At the beginning, I was like, okay, one of my big problems with Jurassic World was they pretty much just removed any moral conversation about, what Jurassic Park did was like, is bringing dinosaurs back to life, people playing God, is that something we should do? Is that something we if we have the power, should we even do it? And all of these things, and what will that lead to? This movie tries almost to bring another philosophical question to the counter, saying, hey, should we try to save these dinos that we created? They're out of their element, but we put them here. Should we try to save them, or should we just let them go extinct again because that's what nature is intending? And I have this question to ask, because obviously they don't really care in the movie about it. It's just something to put out there to, I don't know. I don't even know why they put it out there, but they did. But let me ask you this, Brian and Dan. When you're watching this movie, are you siding with Ian Malcolm, who says, let nature have its way with them? Or are you siding with Claire and Owen, who's saying, let's save these dinosaurs?
That's interesting. I was absolutely going to bring up that question later on, so I like that you went there as well. In a island situation where they can't affect humanity, I would try and save them. But at the end, with the little girl, I would not have opened that door. It's too specific, or it depends too much on the situation for me to answer that broadly. Does that make sense?
I would totally side with Malcolm the whole way. Let the whole island go up in flames. Let it all end. It wasn't meant to be in the first place. It was nature correcting itself. And then at the end, when the little girl pushes the button, I get that she's a clone and she's genetically made and she wants to live and she has empathy for the dinosaurs. So I get it from her perspective, but I don't push the button as a normal person, because you're opening Pandora's box. And the other thing is too, you're letting out like one or two of these dinos and they're all supposed to still be female. And are they really going to just start propagating like crazy? I mean, obviously we know they do because we got another movie.
That was actually, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I side with Malcolm on this. I say let them go extinct. We have their DNA records. We can just recreate more later if we want to.
Yeah. Right. So I have not seen the next movie. I don't think any of us have, right?
No. And I'm regretting having to watch it already.
I would say this though. The scene at the end when I believe it's a Brachiosaurus standing up in the smoke and the lava's coming down, there was a moment, right, where you feel sad. It was a powerful image, and they didn't do a bad job on that scene. So I did feel bad for what was happening there. I'm not cold about it or anything. Yeah. But I do think that, I mean, they gotta go. We've just watched 5 movies of these dinosaurs destroying everything every single time because we can't control them. So there's not an option, not a safe one.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to go back to the point you made a second ago. Brian, you've not seen Dominion is the next one, right?
No, I haven't seen Dominion. No,
neither have I. But from the ads, it appears that it's like dinosaurs living amongst humanity, and like a lot of them. And I had the same thought you did, where it's like there's like maybe 24 dinosaurs that escape, and that's being generous. And most of them are different species. Mm-hmm. How on earth do these populate and stay? Like, is Dr. Wu going back to the genetic lab and just like, all right, we got to make a whole bunch to like populate the Earth now? Like, that doesn't seem realistic. Like, where? Like, I get that life finds a way, but life finds a way seems really hard when there's only, like, they specifically say, like, Blue is the last raptor. Mm-hmm. There's no more. So, like, if there's multiple raptors in the next movie, I'm going to be very confused. But anyways, that's for next week. I haven't seen, I don't know what's going to happen there. We'll have to see what goes there. But anyways, for this movie, I agree, Brian. That dinosaur, the Brontosaurus dying, like, I wasn't, like, crying by any chance, but, like, it was kind of I don't want to say it was a fun scene, but it was trying to be heart-wrenching, and it worked enough. But Will also has a good point. Like, I also didn't buy into the dinosaurs as like I didn't care enough, right? Like, they're not characters per se. but you're still watching animals die, get hurt, and from something that, quite frankly, they don't understand. Like, it's not even like they're in war or something. Like, they just don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they'll be in war later. Don't worry.
Oh, for sure. The Indoraptor.
my whole, like, the whole reason I ask you guys which side you are on this question is because it really, I think, affects whether this movie works at all. Because throughout majority of these movies, I would say most people side with Malcolm, being like, y'all open Pandora's box. You're not ready for this. It's not going to go well. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie is saying as well. And most people are on that page. So why are we following the people who want to save these dinosaurs? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're following this plot line that you're not invested in from the jump. And that's just bad writing.
The entire franchise has shown us that playing with dinosaurs is a bad idea. And now we're going to go rescue them and bring them to the mainland. That's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I can't get into it. I can't get behind them. I think it's a dumb idea. And I think they've got a whole bunch of vials of this DNA, or at least the computer code someplace. Anybody could have this. You could write whatever dialogue you want and say, yeah, we're going to make new dinosaurs. We don't need to go and get the tusk of the abdomen rex or whatever it's called. It was just ridiculous to me. The whole narrative was so stupid to me, and I couldn't get into this one. The last one, I was like, the big pill to swallow was that they were making another Jurassic Park theme park, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I gotta swallow this because that's the movie. But after that pill, everything was like, if it was cheeky or dumb, they kind of had like a line in it that let me know, we're just
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, we're just having fun with this. I'm like, okay. And this one, none of that. And they're like, yeah, we want you to be emotionally invested in this. And I'm like, I'm not. You didn't get me there. And the whole franchise has been leading me in the other direction. And now you want me to switch teams. It was dumb. It was just dumb.
Not to mention, it's a carbon copy of Lost World, the first movie here. The first half is a carbon copy. Like, down to the bad hunter guy and everything is like the same. It's somebody who, like, Owen doesn't actually want to go, but goes because she's going. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I mean, they even like they couldn't even bring us like some really new and interesting sequences or something. They brought the freaking hamster ball back because they didn't have any better ideas. Like, it just felt like they ran out of gas on this and they just threw something out. And put some decent cinematography and special effects into it. That's the only thing this movie's got going for it. It's got some good cinematography in it.
It does. The director does a great job of setting up nice looking scenes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, those scenes are made of Play-Doh and popsicle sticks, and so you can only it only comes across. So
it looks great, but it only does so much to help the movie out.
Exactly. Now,
out of curiosity, though, I'm going to ask the chat and the commenters when this goes live on YouTube. We are a very small sample size. Were there people out there where the PETA aspect of this movie did really work for you, and you were feeling emotionally attached to the dinosaurs? I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below or in the chat if you're here live. So that is essentially movie number one. Now, we did get to see, I'm just going to bring it up, the overturned Jeep. That is supposed to be the Jeep from Jurassic Park 1, right? Like, that's what falls out of the T-Rex
out of the tree
paddock. That was what you took away from that?
Who cares?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
It could be one of a million Jeeps that we don't care about anymore. It doesn't matter.
It could be the Jeep with the 20-year-old battery that they hot wired in the last one. Like, it could be
that was a different. That wasn't the electric Jeep, but sure, okay. It's really hard to have a conversation when every answer is who gives a fuck. So I don't know what to do. All right.
I don't know. What are you? Why are you asking?
I was just curious. Like, is that what you took from that? Like, is that when you saw that? Did you think of that? Because it could have been an interesting way to like solve that like plot hole 30 years after the fact, to be like, oh look, there's the T-Rex pad. There's the like make sense of the geography, and instead it just seemed like it was in the middle of the absolute nowhere, right? Like they're like clearly trying to invoke emotion, be like, oh look, remember this, and also like kind of like the Jurassic Park main building in the last movie, where I'm like, that doesn't like that's not what the geography looked like for where that building was, even though it was really going in that building.
Wait, you want to talk geography? the landlocked freaking water dinosaur in the park is now somehow at the side of the park
Right.
and has a gate that opens to the freaking wide open.
Out of nowhere, they completely changed the geography of the island. I noticed that too. I was like, the shot coming in and showing it, and I was like, wait a minute, that was not. There was no gate. There was no ocean access. It was ridiculous.
I couldn't remember that one. I was like, I don't think it was that close to the water, but I couldn't remember, so I was like, I'm not going back.
Why do they do it? Why do they do it? One,
so they can let it free.
A couple of death scenes, but yes, more importantly, so they can let it free for the next freaking movie. This whole movie is just a setup for the next movie.
And Dan, you're sitting here trying to have them correct plot holes from 4 movies ago. They're not correcting plot holes within their own movie, let alone going back 4 movies to fix something. It's none of this, like Will just said, this really is, I think, going to be a setup for the next movie, because none of this needs to happen. It was all kind of lazy. They're like, hey, let's just get in these crazy action sequences. I don't even really understand why they brought it into the manor just so they could smash a bunch of dinosaur bones and go through walls and climb on the rooftop a little bit. Like, they could have done all that stuff on the island. Okay, and here's something else, and I didn't understand this. Maybe you guys can clarify me for me here. What is up with the little girl? Who is she a clone of? Was her sister a clone? Her mother a clone? Like, I didn't get, like, her and her mother looked just like the nanny. I didn't really get it.
My understanding is the old man in the bed had a daughter. The daughter died of who goes what, and he couldn't have another kid, so he cloned his daughter, and that's who his grandchild is. So the grandchild is a clone of his daughter.
Okay,
Correct.
well,
why? I guess just to open up the question of, like, look, we can also clone humans now. But they're making this whole thing of, like, that's why he had a fallout with John Hammond. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. The name Lockwood means nothing to me, and I've seen all these movies in like a month.
They introduced this character that we're supposed to be attached to, and I had nothing to go on. And then, this even like secret reveal was so convoluted and distant from me. I was like, I don't get it. Like, because the clone, the actual daughter, and the nanny all looked like 3 generations of the same person to me. And I don't know if that nanny was actually the genetic mother or what, or if that was just me seeing things. I don't know.
I think you're seeing things on that one.
That's just you grasping at anything to make any part of this horrible story make sense.
Well, because they said, like, has my mother ever been to the park? And they're like, oh, she went once. And there was, like, I was expecting a flashback or like a, oh, this is Laura Dern's kid or something. And it's like, I don't know.
To be some character we know or care about. Like,
Like, the only, I mean, okay, now that I'm actually thinking about it, the only redhead would be Julianne Moore in the second movie. But, like, she's not connected to them. Like, that is not the character. I'm just saying that's the only thing they can even remotely parse together. Other than that, this is a brand new family that we're supposed to be like, oh, cool, they connect somehow. And it's like, you didn't really do your homework on that one.
They always have to have a child in the movie. So this was a way to, like, put one in. Just clone
That's fair.
Just make it all the elements of all the children that have ever been in Jurassic Parks.
I did like the idea that they super, super briefly touched on, which is, like, of course, John Hammond, not that he did it himself, but he funded cloning in the first place. The natural direction for that would be cloning humans, but somehow that's where he, like, has the, not emotional, the moral wall where he's like, oh, no, we can't do that. And that drives the rift between him and this character they just made up. Like, that was kind of mildly interesting, but they didn't pull on that thread in any way. Maybe we'll get more of that in the next movie. I don't know. I'm not expecting that to go anywhere, but that would have been something I would have liked to have seen them explore more than a throwaway line.
Yeah. I don't know. Are we talking about the second movie?
We can go into the second movie now. We're talking about it enough. The second movie is essentially, I don't know, a mix between a monster movie and a haunted house story. It was really weird. Essentially, you've got, shocker, all the people who kidnapped the dinosaurs from the island turn on the good guys, and they're trying to sell them off for the highest bidder. They decide to do this in the mansion of the guy who funded the PETA movement, because reasons. And so they bring in all of these very bad people in to buy dinosaurs. But of course, you can't just buy dinosaurs because that's boring. We need to make up a new dinosaur that's even scarier. This time around, it's called the Indominus? No, that was the last movie. Indoraptor, which is a raptor mixed with a something scarier. And I hated every aspect of this one. I hated this part of the movie as much as you guys apparently hated the first half of the movie. And it bothered me so much.
They didn't have any good
this,
ideas.
Like, even smarter raptor that's even scarier, and it can't outrun a little girl running upstairs.
And it's the same thing as bringing the hamster ball back. They didn't have a good idea. So instead of an Endo T-Rex, they have the Endo Raptor. And
it's got more raptor than the other raptor,
which still
hybrid.
gets eaten by the old raptor, right? It's just dumb.
It was the Uber Rex mixed with the raptor.
So it was just raptor
already,
and T-Rex maxed with more raptor.
More raptor, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if they would have just said that they got the Abominable Rex and shot it with a shrink ray, it would have been just as
it was a baby
to
one.
Me. Yeah.
No, but they wanted smaller, so one, it would fit in the manor, and two, you could make more of them and save on space.
Well, and this was the absolute only slightly logical reason why they had to go to the island. They needed the raptor, Blue, to be a parental figure for the Endoraptor. That was their thing.
Yeah.
But the Endoraptor was already full grown. Like they missed the boat on that.
No, that was a prototype.
This was the prototype. So Wong wanted to
make another one.
Breed another one with.
Okay,
I'm not saying that makes it make more sense. I'm just saying that's what they gave us.
Why do you need to create mommy issues with these dinosaurs? You've got it on a laser sight trigger on your gun. Just point it where you need it to go and push the button.
Does the laser pointer?
Why don't you just pull the trigger, Run? Tell me that.
I don't know.
Also,
you've already got the gun pointed at the guy. Pull the trigger and kill. Yeah, I know. It's kind of dumb.
I didn't think of that. Oh my god.
Well, see, they could mount a laser on a satellite or something, and then shine it on Kim Jong-un or something, and then just let the Endoraptor free in Africa. It'll make its way over there to North Korea.
But then it wouldn't hear the noise. It would never have the kill motion.
Yeah,
it would know where to go and not be. That's such a good point.
Plot hole.
That's such a good point. Oh my goodness.
Also, on top of that, you've got obviously the ability to splice DNA with other animals. You've got the ability to clone human life.
Yeah.
Why aren't you mixing those two into some sort of serum that would make soldiers superior in some way that could then be more intelligent than a wild animal and could carry their own guns and shoot them?
99% sure that is what was supposed to be in this movie, and they couldn't make them look cool enough, and so they scrapped it or something along those lines. But I'm pretty sure
they couldn't give the Raptor a Captain America shield and just let him run through the jungle.
Exactly.
Come on.
I want a Captain America Raptor.
If a raptor is smart as a human and can listen to what a human says, it doesn't even need the shield. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
A craptor.
That thing took bullets. It took sleeping doses. It knocked everything away. It didn't matter.
Yeah. What was up with them trying to I'm not. Yeah. Guns are ineffectual against dinosaurs no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter how big the gun. You're never going to put the animal down. But tranquilizers seem to be quite effective.
Just animal tranquilizers
throughout all these movies.
Well, the Endoraptor, because that thing just kind of winks at the camera as well. So when that happened the first time, I was like, did I make that up? Because it smiles. It 100% looks at the camera and smiles. And I'm like, did I just see what I think I just saw? And then it does it twice. They had the audacity to do it twice. I'm just like, I'm out. I wasn't really in to begin with, but holy cow.
And his performance when he gets his arm eaten off was just so comical. Just watch that again, the way he tries to act in that scene. It was so horrendous. It was the worst animal attack scene I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And I'm sad for it because Ted Levine is a good actor, and that character was so bad.
I just want to harp on the Endoraptor for so long. It just bothers me for so much. I didn't even think of the gun thing. That's even more good. Like, does the Raptor have a choice? Like, is it a trained thing or is it a forced thing?
Who knows?
Because like, why wouldn't you just
really matter?
Well, no, because if you've got the gun, just aim it at a wall and just be like, attack the wall, and then we'll just run away.
Yeah.
Like that's why I wasn't sure about how that would work or not. But it seemed
like
nonsense.
a train thing because they always pointed at somebody.
Yeah. Well, they only really used that the one time to like trick it. Like they didn't. I was hoping that they like the rich bastard who kills Cromwell. Like I was hoping they'd use it on him or something, or like do something, and then just the T-Rex takes him out. Like they had nothing to do with it. I'm like, okay. Like he died, but like
he's our hero. The T-Rex is our hero now.
Well, yeah, he's always going to be.
Let's not forget that we actually the dinosaur that killed the Endoraptor was actually a Triceratops from 100 million years ago.
Yeah,
right. Because that's what he fell on and got skewered to create our end sequence, which was cool looking. Right? I'll say this. The movie's got two things going for it for me. I thought the music was pretty good. It didn't make me want to vomit Jurassic Park, right? Like it was its own entity, but it felt appropriate for the movie. It was pretty good. And we had some cool cinematography, some decent special effects. Although I think this movie took a step down in the special effects department compared to the previous movie, but this movie took a step up in the cinematography and those scene setups that it has. I think it did have some beautiful stuff that happened. Unfortunately, it had no plot to work with to hold any of that together, so you just didn't care.
I'm glad we're on the same page finally.
I could enjoy the first one. I was offended by the second one. It was just a bridge too far. They had the right mix last time, and this time it felt completely lazy, and they expect me to be lazy and stupid about this stuff, and it was just dumb.
The second half of this movie felt kind of, not that it necessarily had a horror vibe, but like the spooky mansion, the dinosaur running all over the place. Like it kind of had that like thrillerish aspect to it. Even to the point where like the raptor's like slowly like crawling into her bedroom and like reaching over the curtains, as opposed to like pouncing on her like an actual animal would do.
5 minutes ago, it's running for its life after this girl, and now it's for some reason being so delicate.
Yeah, so ridiculous.
Zero sense. Is
so
this
because
like a wild
of that,
animal or a killing machine?
Who cares?
Make up your mind.
Because of that, I really expected it to have like one last jump scare, like the big horror thing always does. Like the falling onto the Triceratops didn't actually kill it. Like I really expected it to get it back up and just like have one back like huzzah. I'm glad it didn't. I'm actually really glad they showed restraint in that way and just be like, no, F it, it's done. We're moving on. Will, you've completely given up on this franchise, so I kind of know your answer on this one. But like, Brian, are you even remotely interested in seeing what the world looks like with dinosaurs in it? Like the actual world, not the park?
The problem is that like I like the idea of the world's filled with dinosaurs and we can see where this goes. But I'm so offended at how we got to this next movie that I'm kind of going to be coming in as a major skeptic. I started on Jurassic World just like on an even keel. And we caught it that first movie, and I was like, okay, it's cheesy, right? But we're having a good time. And then this movie was just like, are you serious? Like, this is no. And so coming into the third movie, I'm going to be a hard audience to please. I think that they're going to have to really do something amazing to pull this one out, because I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. I'm just over this whole franchise at this point. Keep in mind that at this point, Dominion will be the 6th Jurassic Park movie that I've watched in almost as many weeks. And it's going to be pretty brutal, I think. So I'm not really looking forward to it.
Will, do you have any thoughts beyond what we have heard from
you? If this movie was actually the next movie, that would have been better. If they tried to save all these dinosaurs, and here's the problem. This is Lost World. If they tried to save all these dinosaurs, got as many as they could before the whole thing went kaboom, got them to land, but somehow the dinosaurs all escape, then the second half is them roaming around free willy. That's Lost World. that's the movie we should see. This whole secondary plot of more weaponizing dinosaurs, pure caricatures of billionaires buying dinosaurs and Russians just yelling one-liners. The whole, again, corrupt guy working for the old man, just trying to turn a buck. That whole thing is completely useless. It's not the movie anybody wanted, I don't think. And there's probably a reason why critically and audience score wise this movie tanked so hard. It's because it's not what was advertised and it's not what people wanted. We wanted Lost World and we didn't get it, and we have to wait a whole nother movie to get it.
I mean, you say this one tanked, but it made $1.3 billion. Now, granted, it made it at a time when almost everything was making $1 billion, but still, like, that is good money.
Going off of a well-received prequel or prior movie, it was bound to make buck. And if you watch the advertisements for it, you've got Malcolm in the advertisements.
Yeah.
You've got all the end scenes of the dinosaurs loose already. People came to this movie expecting Lost World, dinosaurs living among us.
Yeah.
And what they got was a setup for that movie. So yes, people are going to go buy. And then you can see, if you look up the reviews, this movie got tanked. Audience and critically both tanked this movie.
No, that's fair. I completely agree with what you were saying. That was actually going to be one of my final points, is just like, if this entire movie had just been the first half of this movie, but like stretched out so you actually care and like they have time to like build up for it. Like maybe the volcano's not already going off, but they can tell that it's becoming active or something. So they've got some time to, anyways, not the movie we got, but I think that would have been significantly better. And then if the next movie is dinosaurs in the real world, you can still get us to that point without having to have this whole ridiculous mansion subplot. This movie also does one of my least favorite things, one of my least favorite tropes, and I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about this one before, where the hero, as it were, is in a powerless situation and talks to the person with the gun being like, I'm going to report you to the cops. Like as if there's no chance they're going to turn on them. And this one's even worse because the old man laying in the bed, who's literally going to die at any second anyways, actually turns to him and is like, I want you to call the cops on yourself because that'll really mean something. And I'm just like, how do you not know exactly what's going to, like, the phone is literally on a pillow. Like, I don't understand what you think is going to happen right now, but like, this is suicide by your own idea at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just
the villain in this movie is so bad too. That guy,
I don't know, the rich guy or the guy who likes the teeth.
Guy. No, the rich guy, the whoever's taking care of this guy's business and estate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's not right. Okay, you remember how Malcolm in number 2 felt weird as a lead character? This guy felt weird as a main villain. It was just, he didn't jive well for the fit.
He had nothing to go off of.
Yeah.
He's like, you spent the majority of your career working with this dude and then taking over his company for him just to turn a profit by selling dinosaurs. It was like so weird and not well executed, not explained. He had nothing to go off of except for, you're the villain, so act like a douchebag. Yeah. And so he did that, and not even really that well. So I don't know. I don't think the acting was great.
And the weird relationship with Maisie, like, he's like, oh, she's going to be my daughter now. And it was like, you're not. No, this is just, the whole Maisie thing was just completely pointless and unnecessary. I think they were trying to once again get the audience to side with the dinosaurs, saying, hey, look, she was genetically created, so we feel compassion for her. We should feel compassion for the dinosaurs and want them to be loose. I think that's what they were going for, but it was just a terrible pitch.
I think we're missing some scenes. I don't know if maybe that's in the extended version on that one, because you're right. They definitely feel like we're missing some why Maisie is there. The only thing I can think of is, without Maisie, he's got no right to that fortune. So that's why he wants to be the caretaker, because then then he inherits the money essentially, right? I mean,
that kind of makes, I kind of figured it was something like that, but the whole situation just feels weird and not like it's not necessary. The whole second half of the movie is not necessary. Just Get rid of it.
Well, for that matter, once he sells the dinosaurs for $124 million, whatever it was, I don't care about your fortune anymore. Anyways, whatever.
But that's his seed money for bigger and better things. Remember, that's just that's the tip of the iceberg. Hey, can we pitch to something else here? I need to ask you guys about this from way back in the first movie of this dual movie treat here.
Sure.
So the hamster ball gets knocked around. You can tell I'm kind of stuck on the hamster ball. It gets knocked around by some big dinosaurs. I think it's even there in the poster next to me. It's really durable. We saw dinosaurs trying to bite through it, and it took some of the biggest, baddest dinosaurs to finally break it. I want to know where Chris Pratt buys his pocket knives, because with a little pocket knife, pops that lid right open. Under pressure, underwater, everything. Hot magma rocks flying around, shooting it with the gun, didn't do it, but he whips out that pocket knife and just pops that lid off with a twist of his wrist. That's amazing. Gerber can't sell you that knife. I want whatever he's packing on his hip.
I completely agree. I'm going to go a little step further. When he shoots it with the gun, does he not put holes in it?
He puts it like chips it, but it doesn't break it.
Does Jimmy Kimmel not say that this can take a 50 caliber?
Yeah.
Yes.
And even shoots it, and he's got like a handgun, and he's
shooting
putting holes
it
in this
underwater, which I don't know if you could get through.
That makes guns more effective, right, Ron? As the American here, I'm assuming you're the gun expert. I'm just going to ask you all my gun questions.
I may own a firearm or two myself. Yeah, it's not happening. It's just not happening. None of that is even anywhere. I mean, obviously this is stupid stuff to complain about. But when he pops that lid with his pocket knife after shooting and all that nonsense that happens and everything, I had to like get up and walk away from the TV because I'm like, come on. Where's my cheesy line of dialogue? Like, he should have got out of there, and she should have looked at that knife and been like, "Oh my god, wow," or something.
What is this made of?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can sum it up for you though, Brian.
Yeah. Bad writing.
The reason. No.
I mean, yes, but okay, go ahead.
He's the man.
Yeah. That's it. Hey, at least we got rid of her shoulder pads and she got a halfway decent haircut. Never mind the fact that she's a completely different character in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's so different from herself.
They swap roles.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrible.
Although I preferred it, actually. I preferred Owen as I'm Chris Pratt. Let me tell you some jokes. Instead of I'm cool guy. Everything I do is so cool.
Yeah.
They totally got rid of that. And it was to the betterment of Chris Pratt and his performance.
Yeah.
Even though, again, his character has zero arc, zero trajectory.
I mean, they pivoted back to his wheelhouse. I personally like seeing when actors go out on a limb and do a role that's completely different from anything that they've ever done, and they can showcase that they have the skills to do that. But yeah, Chris Pratt can't do that, so let's pivot back to his wheelhouse and do what he does. So,
and even if he can do that, he can't do it with the script he was given.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
I think he had one good moment in this movie, and that's when the Brontosaurus was burning up, and he looks at it, and it was a pretty emotional moment. And it wasn't really him. It was like the setup of that scene, and then it goes to him, and you could see he felt bad about that situation, like we're supposed to. But that was about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he emoted it.
Yeah,
that sadness.
Again, though, I liked Chris Pratt in this movie. I liked Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, you're right, their characters are vastly different from what they were in the last one, but like they both do a decent job with what they're given. I don't know that any of it makes sense, but like they're not hard to watch.
We didn't talk about the other two heroes that joined them on the island.
Oh, yes. Jaden Smith and did I write it down? I didn't.
The Asian veterinarian girl.
The vet who's never seen a dinosaur?
Right.
Yes. Yeah, the paleo veterinarian who's never seen a dinosaur.
No, that's not a made-up thing. But she's never seen a dino before.
I never thought she would.
Daniela Pineda.
Yeah, Daniela. There you go. Yeah.
I liked her character. I like both of those characters, actually, but they were just in the wrong movie, unfortunately.
So Jaden Smith, I'm not super familiar with him. I know he was in Detective Pikachu, which I enjoyed enough.
It's Justice, just so you know.
Justice Smith, my apologies. Sorry. It's even on screen in front of me, and I still got that wrong. Okay. Justice Smith was in the game that I just recently played, The Quarry.
Some people say that if she catches you alone, she'll try to turn you into her son. or kill you or something. I don't know. It's never really been clear. Anyways, Haga gets Corey.
Not that many people in that game were, fine actors, but like he was cardboard. Like he legitimately bothered me, and I tried to actively get him killed. So when I saw he was in this, I was like, "Oh, we got to buckle up on this one." I actually liked his character well enough. Like it's kind of ridiculous that like the guy who doesn't want to be there is getting into all the bad situations. He was fun
for the lulls. Very one-dimensional though as well.
Right? Oh, 100%. But he was supposed to be. He's a backup character, right? Like he's not the star.
I was kind of hoping that one or both of them would get killed, and it would be a more dramatic moment. Like I was kind of hoping that we would kill off more important people.
I assume they're going to be in the next one. As we said, this movie's set up for the next one. So
yeah, I don't know about that. I actually read, I don't know if it was an interview with the director or writer or somebody, that they specifically said, we wanted everybody who dies in this movie to die because they deserved it. And that's why none of the good characters died, except for maybe the dinosaurs, if you think they're good.
F. James Cromwell.
But they made sure, that the bitter guy made his timely end by a dinosaur tail whip, and all the military guys made their demise by dinosaur tail whips. Everybody died in this movie because of dinosaur tail whips. Did you notice that?
Lots of tail whipping going on in this film.
All kinds of dinosaur tail whips, just hitting electronics or tripping dudes or anything, or a tail whip to distract from pulling a tooth. It's all tail whips in this movie, y'all. It's all tail whip.
Was the thing that the auctioneer got into, was that not an elevator, or was that just a safe room?
It looked like a big elevator.
It was an elevator, and then it didn't go anywhere until the dinosaur whipped it.
Until they whipped it, yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, I don't know about the elevators you go into, they start moving as soon as the doors are shut, right? Like, doors shut, like, you'd think that even if the dinosaur whipped it, it'd be, like, in motion or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't know why I'm trying to put so much emphasis into this movie that's clearly ridiculous. I've thought about it more than the director has at this point.
And the little girl that played Maisie, she was a typical child actress for me. I thought she did a terrible job.
I thought she did a good job, but
I didn't like her performance whatsoever. Maybe she was trying to portray a character that I didn't quite understand. I don't know, but it just felt... It jarred me out of every scene that she was in. I was like, this is a kid trying to act this part. And I hate when that happens. I hate when I can't just enjoy a film or a play or something and follow these characters. But when I notice that a character or an actor is acting, it just kills that moment for me. And I really did not like her performance at any point in time through the movie. She always felt, I don't know, it felt like it was the seventh take on every scene she was in.
I didn't have a problem with her. I actually thought she did a pretty okay job for what she had. I don't know that she needed to be in as much of the movie as she was in, but it as you said, it's a Jurassic Park movie. It's basically for kids. You have to have that kid in there for them, I guess. At least they seem to think so. They
needed a lot more of her with more background and understanding of what that angle was, or they should have removed her altogether, like removed the whole second half of the movie.
It was a super interesting question that they brought up in a throwaway line and never touched on again.
Right.
And it's like, I would have enjoyed more of that, but
the villain guy even say anything?
I have no idea. She didn't have questions, or if she did, she didn't bring them up or anything. Like the photo she looks at, that is, I'm assuming her mother and James Cromwell.
Well, not her mother, her clone, OG.
Well, okay, sure.
1.0.
From her perspective, her mother.
Right, sure.
And it's like, oh man, she looks exactly like I do. But James Cromwell looks like he's 3 weeks younger than he was in the movie. Like, it's not like he's like 42 or something. So I just thought that was her and her grandpa. And she's like, oh, I'm saving this photo of me and grandpa. And it's that's her mom and her clone. I'm like, could have made that one more obvious with that, but okay, sure.
Okay, so what did you guys think of this? With, again, talking about whatever her name was. Maisie. Did you like how they paralleled Maisie to dinosaurs throughout the movie? Like a little movement of a branch as she's running through the screen, focus on her eye dilating, like all the same tropes they did with the dinosaurs, they do with her.
I kept noticing that, and I was like, they didn't flush this idea, the parallels of her being cloned and the dinosaurs being cloned or whatever, they didn't flush that out enough, and they kept trying little things like that.
Yeah, little
And I'm
foreshadowing.
like, you're not getting there, and you're not delivering this point. I guess the big delivery was supposed to be her pushing the button, and she's like, "I'm one of them."
Yeah.
You know,
which we already know, so who cares?
Yeah.
And I was almost hoping at that point that when we zoom in on her eye, she like has a second eyelid, and she's like part dinosaur or something. Like, make it cool. Like,
would that have
give
been
her a
cool for you?
reason. I mean, more than most of this movie, probably.
Okay.
At least
I wasn't
she's
sure. I
like
wasn't sure if that would like check you out even more. Be like, "Bah!"
at this point, you might as well throw any shit at the wall and hope it sticks, right?
I think that's
mean-
what they did. That's what this whole second half of the movie is.
honestly, if the Tyrannosaurus Rex would have just transformed into a transformer at the end and been like, "Where is Optimus Prime?" I wouldn't have cared
Grimlock
either way.
King.
I was so done with this movie halfway through it. I was like, it was too much for me.
To answer your actual question, Will, I didn't notice the eye dilation as part of it. I did like the branches moving, and I obviously thought that was supposed to be like a distraction, I guess, not a distraction. Like you're supposed to think one thing, right? Like you're supposed to think it is a dinosaur, and
A
then it turns out to be
misdirection?
a misdirection. Thank you, Brian. But I didn't get the idea that it's like, oh, you're actually supposed to connect these two dots. Now that you've said that, I actually like that they tried that even more. I don't think they necessarily did it well because I missed it, but like I get knowing that it kind of is like, oh, okay, that's kind of an interesting thing to have tried for. Could have done it better, apparently, but
They could have done
At
a
least
lot
you
of
caught
things
it.
better. They could have done a lot of things better.
Let's just not make this movie. That would have been so much better for me.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I don't have much more to say. I'm trying not to be too negative on this one, but this one offended me.
Yeah, I'm ready to rate if you are. I don't know. I could talk more trash about it too, but
So the one thing I do want to talk on before we move on from this one, because I don't know where we go in the next movie, but so far the Jurassic Park franchise is all about, it's all about actual dinosaurs. And then the Jurassic World franchise, I mean, you could argue because they've all got like frog DNA, right? But like essentially they're trying to be as true to dinosaurs as you can be.
Dinosaurs as we knew them to be.
Yeah.
And the Jurassic World franchise has taken that into, well, now we're just, cloning whatever we can and making up new shit and seeing what we can come up with. I don't know what Dominion's going to be, but the Rebirth trailer has some serious Frankenstein looking dinosaurs in that. Like that's going to be a buckle up movie for sure. Does this, I mean, I kind of know where this is going already, but like, does the franchise, has it pigeonholed itself into the point where they kind of have to go bigger and scarier from now on? Or would it be more interesting and better for you if they just had to be like, you know what, F that, let's go back to just dinosaurs? Because honestly, if the next movie is dinosaurs in society, I'd much rather that with actual dinosaurs than with these Frankenstein monster things.
I think not so much that they've pigeonholed themselves into it, is that they believe that's where they need and want to go to make this interesting and to keep people interested. I think they think people are bored with just people are in Jurassic World. They went to the park, they saw the dinosaurs, it was awesome, and now they're bored with it. Let's move this into what comes next, which is cloning people, making weaponized monsters and all of that trash.
And that's the thing.
Not interested in, but that's fine. Maybe some people out there are.
We see this trend throughout a lot of the franchises that we cover. They try to make things bigger, better. They do multiples of things, then they make them bigger, and then they have a big monster at the end. And we never like this stuff. The three of us and most of the people in the chat, in the comments, we don't like that. The best stuff comes from when you have an amazing character to follow that you care about. Prey, the Predator Prey, is a fantastic representation of that. We saw all kinds of crazy crap in the Predator franchise that we didn't like, the bigger, the more powerful. We're like, you didn't need that. And they go back to Prey, and we had a great lead actress that we cared about. It was interesting. They built her character. She had an arc. There was lots of stuff going on, and it was a simplistic predator that followed her. It was great. I think if we stick with regular dinosaurs in the whole world, but we get to follow maybe, I don't know, a family or maybe no more kids. But we get to follow some people who live in this world and have interesting story arcs that they go through and develop. And we get to see how that happens. It could be an entertaining movie, much like I like zombie apocalypse movies. This could be a dinosaur apocalypse movie that's coming up, and I could be very interested. But they need to have characters I care about, plot that intrigues me and is dynamic and interesting. And they can't have a whole bunch of holes. They can't treat me like I'm stupid. I'm going to go watch a movie about where dinosaurs roam the entire planet, so I don't have to be impressed with the intellectual value of the upcoming movie. But they can't treat me like Jurassic Park, The Fallen Kingdom did, because this was trash.
All right.
Yep.
I don't know if you've got much more to say, but do you want to move into your...
That's it, but I can give you my rating if you want.
Sounds good.
My numbers didn't fluctuate with our conversation at all. I feel very strongly about these. The high points was the cinematography, not necessarily the special effects. Like I said, they dipped a little bit from the last movie the special effects did, but the cinematography made up for it. I also enjoyed the sound effects and the music of this movie. It was pretty good. It was pretty solid. I did like the previous one better. However, I did not have any fun in this movie. And the previous movie, I had a lot of fun. They let me know that it was going to be pretty cheeky, and I was okay with the things that they did because they didn't treat me like I was supposed to believe that crap. And in this one, they treated me like I was supposed to believe crap, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling of being forced to watch this movie. It's no wonder that I had only seen bits and pieces of it, because I probably stormed out of each bit and piece that I'd seen before. This movie got a 55 for me. The only reason it breaks the halfway point in a watchable movie is if you are a big fan of Jurassic Park and you want to see all the movies. There's some dinosaurs in this one, and you can say that you watched the whole franchise like we're gonna say. But if that's not really your thing, don't go watch this movie. It has decent cinematography and special effects and stuff like that, but it's not a good movie. It's not well done, and I was almost offended that I had to sit through the whole thing.
All right, fair enough. I like that we're just getting our catchphrases out there.
Was it 55, you said?
55.
55, yeah.
All right.
Just barely over the watermark for a watchable movie, but definitely not franchise worthy.
Fair. All right. I'm going to go next. Mirroring a lot of what Brian said, I actually like the sound in this one quite a bit. There was one point where we got the original Jurassic Park theme as like a really slowed down piano, and like I really enjoyed that. The sounds of the dinosaurs sounded great and whatnot, but that little piano thing actually got me thinking to get my little keyboard out again and see if I could actually learn how to play the Jurassic Park song. So that might be something I try in the next couple of weeks. We'll find out. As far as the acting goes, I thought pretty much everybody did an okay job. I actually like Chris Pratt quite a bit, so watching him is fun. Bryce Dallas Howard's always great in the movies she does. The main villain, played by Rafe Spall, I was a little bit different than the two on this one. I didn't mind him because he came across as more weaselly than mustache twirling, almost like everybody was pushing him around, even though he was supposed to be the person in charge. And I was okay with that. Like, that seemed to be the character he was going for, as opposed to the, like, I'm the big boss man. Justice Smith and Daniela... Shoot, I lost her name. Daniela Pinata were fun characters for what they were. They weren't given a whole lot to do, but so be it. And even Maisie, I was okay with. She was in too much of the movie. Like, her character didn't need to be there, but the actress did an okay job with what she had. As far as the cinematography goes, as mentioned, I actually thought the graphics on this one were a little bit better than the last one. They were using a bit more practical effects for the close-ups and stuff like that, and I thought that worked out really well. The plot on this movie, I wish they'd taken the first half and made it the entire movie. I would have been way more on board with that. I actually enjoyed the first half of this movie. I know that it wasn't very well thought out, and the whole volcano where the park was is kind of silly, but also, you know, freak accidents happen all the time. Acts of God are a real thing. So I gave them a bit more leeway there, and I actually enjoyed a lot of that cinematography, a lot of the look of that island shot. And then we get to the haunted house, and it was just, everything fell apart for me. The Indoraptor was so incredibly stupid for me and unnecessary. Even if it had just been Blue hunting them down, I would have been more on board with that, although, he has to be the hero dinosaur, so be it. My enjoyment for this one's a tough one because I liked the first half and I hated the second half. And that really did bring us down because we have to vote on the movie we see, not the movie we wish we saw. So this one comes down to a 58 for me. And that just leaves Will. At least he's not shaking his head in disgust at us this time. So
I think if they made the first half, the entire movie, wouldn't that just kind of be Jurassic Park 2?
Lost World, yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that just be Lost? Yeah. So I think that's why you kind of...
I mean, that's kind of what they set up in the previews.
But I don't know. They could have made things a lot more interesting. I think they should have had like a dinosaur get off the island somehow and attack somebody on the mainland, and then you have like a scene with like a bunch
exactly Jurassic Park 2.
A bunch of politicians that are like, hey, we can't have them escaping. We've got to get rid of them. We've got to exterminate them. We've got to make sure it's done. Let's test out a new government weapon. We're going to try this Moab bomb or something, and we'll blow up the entire island. That would have been a little bit more believable than, oops, we didn't realize there was an active volcano under here. Like, that was just weird to me.
It's fair, but I mean, I don't know. Is it the same plot as the second movie? What was the reason for them getting off the island in the second movie? They wanted to bring them to San Diego and open up a park there. So if they hadn't had the plot twist where the bad guys were actually bad guys and they like got rid of that whole selling them into auction thing, like let's assume that you actually got enough money from PETA or whatever their organization is called to actually save these dinosaurs, not to put them in a park, not to make money off them, not to sell them as war things, but to take them and like let them be free for whatever reason.
That was the old man's
plan. You could have raised some very interesting questions in that movie, which is the questions I would have been interested in more so than just a raptor attacking people in a house. Like that's what I would have been curious to have those conversations. Like the scenes with Jeff Goldblum in court, I would have watched that movie. Like get Aaron Sorkin to make that movie, I'm fucking in.
That's what we
got this.
That was the trailers. The trailers were Ian Malcolm in Jurassic World. That's what we wanted to see because dinosaurs are going to get loose and Malcolm's against it. And how could you even think about this? Oh, great. We've got the moral dilemma again. Let's watch it. That's not what we get.
I actually just made myself sad now that I know that there will never be an Aaron Sorkin, Jeff Goldblum dinosaur court movie. That's actually really disappointing for me. All right, well, let's move on to you and wrap this up.
All right, there's not a lot to say here. This is just ironclad evidence of what I stated last week when we talked about Jurassic World. You watch terrible movies because they are popcorn movies that have no writing and no plot. Just have special effects and stupid action. This is what you get. This is what you get. You deserve this. You all deserve this. You all deserve this. 41 from me.
Is that actually higher than the previous movie?
No, it's much lower. It's much lower.
Oh. The other one was 55.
The other one was 55.
Oh, okay.
All right, and with that, Jurassic World falls pretty hard, losing 10 spots, going from 73 to 63, taking the, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th spot on our poster, falling below Evil Dead. None of us have seen the next movie, and Rebirth isn't even out yet, so God knows where this franchise is going to end when it's all said and done, but looking like it's dropping quickly. Could this go as far down as Venom, do you guys think? Or do you think it's going to plateau somewhere in the Gremlins range?
God, I hope it doesn't go any further down. I hope I can just enjoy the next two movies. I was a little blindsided by how this one upset me watching it. I knew it was going to come in lower than the previous one, but I thought I could still have fun with it. And I didn't have any fun watching it at all. There was just no fun to be had. Anything that was fun, it was something we've already seen before, just redone, rehashed.
Yeah, I think the next movie's probably going to drop this to Venom territory, 100%. And because it's been a while, the next one coming out this summer or whatever, maybe it can get to where Brian wants this to be this is a standalone story, not really related, but in that same world. And that has hope, a sliver of chance to be actually, you know, thought out and written instead of just garbage thrown at the wall, of being something that's watchable. This movie is not watchable. The next one I don't think is going to be watchable either, because it's on that trajectory. This movie was made for the next movie, and that does not give me hope at all.
All right, that's our rating of Jurassic World, but what's yours? Let us know down in the comments below. I'd be curious to see what your scores are for this movie or this franchise so far. We record this live over at twitch.tv/The Show, so head over there, hit that follow button if you want to see them live, or hit like and subscribe if you made it this far in the video. You probably liked it if you made it this far. Other than that, I hope you're safe, I hope you're well, and we'll see you next time.